it. Come on, do it.
Come
Do it now.
on.
Come on. We got to go. There's a bomb in there. Get out of here. Let's go. Come on.
Well, with all that, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Geeks and Company. Hey, guys, we were supposed to have an elegant weapon, Mr. J, with us here tonight. Unfortunately, Jay I don't know what's going on. He's having issues with his phone. He can't seem to get the setup working to be able to go live on Instagram, as well as with you guys here on YouTube, because there's already people watching on YouTube. So thanks, guys. The people that are watching on Instagram, if this is the first time you watch us, I will tell you right now, we're much clearer in HD on YouTube. You can see comments pop up on the screen. Listen, it's a much better experience overall. Go give us a watch on YouTube. Give us a like. Make sure you follow the channel. Guy, we were supposed to be chatting with an elegant weapon tonight about Star Wars. And, I guess we'll still talk Star Wars because I'm pretty much up to date. Except for last night's or today's episode. When did it come out? Yesterday, you said?
Wednesdays. Yeah, Wednesdays is when Andor drops.
So yesterday, Andor came out. I was positive I watched yesterday's episode, but apparently I didn't. So maybe it was Tuesday night. But either way, there is a bunch of Star Wars happening right now on TV and a lot more stuff coming. So we will be talking Star Wars tonight. Before we get into it, Mr. Jeff over here joining us as always.
Hi.
Psy Complex Cosplay. How you doing, bud?
Hi. I am well. Andor. Yeah, we're good. It's gonna get spicy, guys. So yeah, no top 10 this week. We're taking a break from the top 10s. Ideally, we'll be back next week with the top 10, but we'll see. We'll comb the waters and see.
We'll see. I don't want this show to become a top 10 show.
No, I get that.
But
for sure. Yeah. But we are getting we are generating some conversation with you guys, which is great, which is what we appreciate, what we want. But yes, this week we're going to be talking some Star Wars, those crazy Star Wars. JS, how are you, man? What's going on?
I'm good. Yeah? Busy week, so day. But hey, what are you going to do? Those things tend to happen.
Usually in strings.
They do, don't they?
Like, yeah. It's the one thing, right? It's pile on. And speaking of bad things piling on, that Andor. Oh boy. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. I don't know why the internet's in love with this show, because it's bad. It's not. I'm sorry. It's half bad.
It's not a bad show. It's just not very good.
There's four distinct plot lines that follow specific characters, and two of those plot lines and characters are fantastic, and two of them are I shouldn't say that. There's five. Two of them are great, two of them are shit, and one of them is like good enough that it would complement the other two. Top 10 Geek Boutique peeps. Producer Jen takes all 5 top slots. Well,
yeah, says her sister.
Her sister. Yeah, I think she might be slightly biased.
I mean, top spot, sure. Without producer Jen, there is no Geek Boutique.
We would not be here.
Yeah,
no question.
Yeah,
and you are the heart and soul of this, sir. You are easily the number 2 spot. I'm going to settle in right around number 7 or 8, and I'm fine with that.
God, here we
go.
I
want the bottom 2. I want 9 and 10. I want 2 spots. I want 2, but I want them at the bottom. Yeah, we will, guys. We're definitely going to do more top 10 lists. I agree with JS. I don't want this to be like nothing but that, but obviously we do get a lot more interaction with you guys when we're doing stuff like that. So
we do.
Yeah, so it's good. But yes, sorry. I know we're not strictly going to talk about Andor, but it is the juicy news of the week since it is the show currently on. So I could watch Stellan Skarsgård in his Luthen character, and Mon Mothma all day long.
Yeah,
those two starting the rebellion, and the ISB, the supervisor, and the ISB chasing them down and trying to put all the links together. That's your show. Everything to do with Cassian Andor and Cyril bores the tits off of me. It's just nothing is happening, and now they've even broken the whole 3 episode arc that everybody said that I was complaining about. Everybody was like, "No, Jeff, they told us it was going to be each arc was going to be 3 episodes." Guess what, kids?
That's not how it's going.
This was the 3rd episode this week. This current arc did not get resolved. Everybody that started wherever everybody started at the beginning of this week's episode is exactly where they were at the end of this week's episode. Nothing fucking happened. This show, yeah, I hate to agree, but I agree. Yeah, this show it makes Book of Boba Fett look like an action shoot up fucking blast a minute fucking show. Like there's just,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not saying it has to be all action. Like that's not what I'm trying to get at, because the Luthen and Mon Mothma stuff is an action, but at least there's intrigue. You get all the political and the thriller aspect of it. I love that shit. That's great. But the Andor stuff, when you last saw Cassian Andor, was last week's episode, he was in prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guess where he is this week?
In prison.
Guess where he is at the end of this week's episode?
In prison.
Still in fucking prison. Like nothing's happening, and I don't care. That's all right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I saw. No, hang on. I want to stop there for a second, because the problem I had with them making this show in the first place is that I didn't care about the character of Cassian Andor.
Right.
Rogue One does nothing to make you care for the character of Cassian Andor, because we've talked about this on the podcast before. Cassian Andor is not a good guy.
No, he's a piece of shit. Well, not a
He's
piece
a piece of shit.
He's not a good dude at all.
He's a fucking murderer.
Yeah.
He's a thief.
Yeah.
He's a piece of garbage. He's a liar.
Yeah. He's all.
He is a piece of garbage. So I don't understand why they would try to build a show around a character that is not a likable guy. I mean, where are we in the fucking world that these are heroes?
Yeah. I
don't understand.
I don't get it. Like I get that they're going to want to try to show us how he went from a money grubbing opportunist to a freedom fighter that's more concerned with the rebellion than he is about his own personal gain. Like I get that that's supposed to be the journey, but if the beginning of the journey is him being a piece of shit, and then the end of the journey is him still being a piece of shit just for different reasons, then I really don't care. Right? Like, I get that you guys think that's some sort of character development. By you guys, I don't mean you guys specifically. I just mean like the Star Wars, fandom in general. That is some sort of development, that he goes from a guy that's just out for himself. Now he's a guy that's out for a cause. But he still has to be an asshole, no matter what he's doing, to get to, like, do the ends justify the means, I guess is the point I'm trying to make.
Look, I think it's simple. I mean, by the time you get to Rogue One, he's still an asshole.
100%. He's just an asshole with a cause now.
Yeah, but he's still an asshole, and he's still a murderer.
I agree.
Right? So, like, what kind of development are we actually seeing here? Because the only time he actually turns is at the end, just before he dies.
Right.
And we've already seen that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't grasp the whole glorifying an absolute trash bag of a human being.
Yeah, I don't know.
In a show that can have so much intrigue, that can have so much around the actual building of the rebellion, which is the good part of the show, right?
And that's what I'm talking about. The show should be called Mon or Mothma or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it should be, because she is everything he is not. She is the idealist. She is the person trying to make positive change from the inside. She's watching the Emperor step his boot heel on all these systems' throats, seeing nobody doing anything about it. So she's decided to put her life on the line to try to make a positive change, not just for herself and not even just for the planet, but for the entire fucking galaxy. And this guy is just running around stealing shit and ends up in prison. And we're all supposed to feel bad he ended up in prison. Why? He's done.
Yeah, why do we feel bad he ends up in prison? I'm just a tourist. No, you're not.
No.
You're a fucking murderer.
Yeah, and a thief. Like, I don't.
Yeah,
Your
I don't.
intention was never to get the money and help it with the rebellion. You don't give a fuck about the rebellion. And I get it. At one point, he'll get to the point where he now appreciates the cause or whatever, but I don't care. It doesn't matter. Center the show should be called Mothma. Initially I was like, the show should be called Urso. I still stand by that. And a Jyn Urso show would have been great. But if this show was called Mothma and they just centered the whole show around her character, mwah.
Yeah. The only thing I really liked about last week's episode is they brought us to he's not on Jedha at that point. He's on, I forget what planet, but we see Saw. We see a younger Saw Gerrera, like a couple years younger, I guess, because this is like, I think 5 years before Rogue One or something like that.
Yeah. And I don't know where that lands him in because I know he comes over from the animated series, right?
Yeah, he comes over from Clone Wars.
So I don't know.
He's young in Clone Wars. He's I don't want to say he's a teenager, but he's a young 20-something, let's say.
Right.
So he's probably in his late 30s in this, or mid 40s, let's say, in this, because Clone Wars happens between episode 2 and 3. So this is
And this is post
probably like 15 years later, maybe.
post 3, but pre 4.
Yeah. I don't know. You know, it gets
Well,
so
Rogue
confusing
One
now.
literally but Rogue One literally ends at 4. I think
Yes.
he said at the beginning that we're 5 years BBY, which is the Battle of Yavin, right?
So we'd be
before the
14
Battle of
years after Order 66.
14 years after Order. Okay.
Yeah, which Order 66 is the end of the Clone Wars.
Right.
He came along probably about halfway through the Clone Wars. So about 20 years. There's about 20 years between when we see him in the Clone Wars and when we see him now in Andor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that was easily the best moment of that last show was Forrest Whitaker, who, by the way, I didn't care for in Rogue One, but just this scene he's got and that back and forth that he's got with Luthen when he fucking loses it and starts listing off all these groups that he doesn't want to work with because of whatever their ideology is compared to his own. That was dope. Like that was one of the most powerful moments on that show, because it, again, the show is supposed to be about, take a book, Jeffrey and Crazy Mike, awesome. The show is supposed to be about the birth of the rebellion. And we're watching this dude scraping out, like Luthen even says, like, you're here in these cold, dank caves. Like, we've all got to come together. Like, just give me that, man. Why do I care about some 5?
Yeah, some idiot Andor.
I don't get it.
Like, could they have used him as cameos throughout the show to spice it up? Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
Sure.
But why would they build a show around his character? I will never understand that part.
Nope. And I'm watching the internet talk about how this is like the adult show for Star Wars because they swore and they had a sex scene. So they have all these firsts in a Star Wars show. So it's now like, it's a show. It's a Star Wars show for adults. I've been seeing it so much. It's such a mature show. Like people shitting on Obi-Wan, but loving this. And I'm like, you guys are out of your fucking minds.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan had its problems. Don't get me wrong. But it was
way better than this.
Way better than this.
Way better than this. Yeah. Obi-Wan, for me, was probably the best Star Wars show next to The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Boba Fett was meh. This is meh.
Now, have you watched?
At least Boba Fett had its moments, right?
Oh, Boba had its moments. Those last 2 episodes were
this show hasn't really had any moments.
Not as far as I'm concerned, no.
So I don't know.
Other than the moments with Stellan Skarsgård or Mon Mothma. And even the ISB stuff, I actually really like the ISB stuff, watching them slowly start to try to put the pieces together of these different rebel cells and factions and stuff. That's cool to me because, again, there's all that intrigue and politicking and all these complex pieces that are trying to come together.
Well, you're also seeing more of how the Empire works in the background, right? Because we've never...
The bureaucracy.
We've never seen much of how the Empire works other than... Oh, Star Destroyers. Oh, Death Star, blow up a planet. Yeah. That's the Empire, right? We've never really seen the internal workings of the Empire like they're showing it us through the ISB, which, again, is nice. I'm not a big fan of the Inspector guy. I forget what his name is, but...
The guy?
The guy that got fired.
Cyril. I can't stand him. Yeah,
Cyril.
He's the worst. No, he's the worst. But all the ISB stuff with the blonde lady.
Yeah.
Mira, I think. She's fantastic. All of that's fantastic. And I do. That's one of the few aspects of it I like is showing that bureaucracy, like you're saying, because the whole time the ISB is looking for Cassian Andor, he's actually already in Imperial.
He's already in jail.
He's already in the Imperial justice system, but because it's such a gigantic bureaucratic machine, they're looking for them and they don't even know they already have them. So that part, I'm like, oh, that's cool. You're showing how these things could happen. How could the plans get smuggled out? How could all these things? Because a lot of the times the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing because it's just a giant bureaucracy at this point, right? So, which it's a galactic empire.
Yeah, and I feel like they're, you know, how media likes to be up in today's times, right? And I feel like they're pulling at strings a little bit, doing what they're doing with the Empire and the whole, you're just running down the street. Well, you must be with them. Go to jail. Like we're not. I don't know. I don't know. I have a lot of issues with this show. As much as there are good parts, to me, it almost feels like the show's being written by children.
It's definitely a 60-40 for me. There's 60% of the show I fucking hate, and there's 40% of the show I fucking love. And now I'm just watching it to hate it. And I don't like doing that, but because I feel it's a waste of my time. But I also know, like, I knew we'd be talking about it here. So I'm like, I should at least, try to get caught up. And here we are, man. I don't know. Vardo Nyes, Bobby saying 100%. Yeah, and maybe it'll turn around. I don't know how, but maybe it will.
You know, I hope, I'm hoping, because this is what, 13 episodes or 16 episodes?
12 and 12.
12 and 12.
Yes. They confirmed this season,
so you know, I'm always complaining how 6 or 8 episodes is never enough, and maybe that's what happens, right? Like when you start doing
it feel like
12, 13, 14 episode seasons, all of a sudden we feel like it's slow. I don't know.
That's what Snowhawk's saying right there. I'm having a hard time getting past episode 2. Yeah.
So
episode
the first 2's on a very good one.
Go in 3 episode arcs. So it's like setup, filler, payoff, setup, filler, payoff. And when I pointed that out, some people were like, "Well, Jeff, they said they were going to do that. Everything was going to be in 3 show arc or 3 episode arcs." But then this latest one is setup, filler, filler, and there's still no payoff on this current arc. So it's this past week's episode was very, very frustrating. I'm not going to lie, because literally everybody was exactly where they were at the end of last week's episode, at the end of this week's episode. Like there was nothing changed. Some of their ideas had been modified, but everybody was in the exact same place. Cassian's still in jail. Mon Mothma is still trying to figure out her money issues. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing. Cyril is still working his job. There's no. Anyways, I'm so sorry, man. I'm just gonna like freak the fuck out. But I'm so mad at this show because the potential is there. They just centered it on the wrong character.
Yeah, and I agree that Stellan Skarsgård.
Oh.
I mean, I love that man. It doesn't matter what role you give him.
Give me all of that.
He eats it up. He is so good, and I love when he plays. So
Bobby's comment's great. I think I've learned how to build those things at this point. Yeah, when he's in the jail. Yeah. Last week's. Holy fucking shit, man. There are a lot of scenes that building them, whatever they are. I'm sure they're parts of the Death Star. I don't know what else they would be, but
yeah. Anyway, it's very likely somehow parts of the Death Star.
Yeah. I mean to interrupt you. I just thought that was
no. That's okay. I was just saying, like, I like how Stellan Skarsgård plays the 2 different.
Yeah.
You know, like the Luthen that is the public figure, with the long hair, and the Luthen that is the rebel, which when you watch them are 2 completely different characters.
No,
right?
And that's what I'm saying. When him and Forrest Whitaker are just sitting in that cave having that 5-minute conversation, it almost highlighted how bad the rest of this show is based on how good that 5 minutes was. That 5 minutes should be this whole fucking show, because it was that peak level of watching 2 screen veteran amazing actors just owning the scenery at that point, because they were both so good in that. It makes me
agree.
weep for what it's been. Anyways,
100%.
Yep,
100%. Hey, listen, I'm sure we're gonna come back to Andor at some point, because knowing you're gonna want to keep ripping on it. But listen, have you at all watched Tales of the Jedi?
I haven't, only because it's obviously it's on the back of the animated, like the Clone Wars, and it's the same reason.
So that's my problem with it. So I watched it. It's only 6 episodes. Some of them are only like 12 minutes. Like it's like you can watch it in one sitting.
Okay.
It's fucking fantastic. But if you've never watched the Clone Wars,
that doesn't make any sense.
There's a lot of references you're not even going to understand.
Yeah.
There's a scene right out of fucking Rebels.
Yeah, it's a Smokey Jam saying,
so if you've never seen Rebels,
so has Smokey Jam. So Jamie, have you watched all the animated stuff? Like, is that? Because that's what
I believe they have watched all the animated stuff. Yes.
So good. So what I'd like to hear is from somebody that has not watched any of the other animated things, that has tried to watch Tales of the Jedi, and see if you also have a good experience. And by the way, if you're one of those like, I love everything Disney does, then don't bother, because that's your opinion is the credibility of your opinion is somewhat suspect. But if you've not seen the animated stuff and you've watched Tales of the Jedi, I am curious.
I feel like you're still going to be able to enjoy it for what it is. You're just not going to be able to. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to spoil anything here when I say that the Jedi, the tales of the Jedi revolve around Dooku and Ahsoka.
That's when I saw when I saw that.
So you get to see Dooku as Qui-Gon's master.
Right.
Like you get to see Dooku before he turns.
Right.
Up until when he turns, really. Right. And then there's a couple of Ahsoka episodes. So you see her as a baby, and you see her you know, um, the Dooku stuff, I think you could appreciate
Right.
because the Dooku stuff has not really much to do with the Clone Wars at all. As much it's really on the backs of the prequels.
Right. Okay.
But the Ahsoka bits are on the back of the Clone Wars.
Right.
And like I said, there's a couple scenes where they're directly referencing the Clone Wars and Rebels. And I'm thinking to myself, but if you haven't seen these, you don't understand what this scene is about. And then the show ends, right? And then it's like, oh, so they're not even going to explain it to you?
So there's no context if you
So
haven't
there's no
seen...
context for that end scene there if you haven't seen the animated show. So I was like, well, that's dumb.
So is Filoni the one heading this one up then?
He is.
Right. Okay.
He is.
So that kind of makes sense. Because the Filoniverse guys are like, and gals, like they're deep in it, right? Like everybody that I know that's watched all the anime stuff absolutely loves it. I just personally I haven't been able to get into it, but that's on me. That's not on Filoni.
You know, I feel like if you don't want
right?
to go through all of the Clone Wars, at least this will give you a little bit of a basis on who Ahsoka is. Especially with the Ahsoka show coming out, this will at least tell you a little bit about who she is. And it shows you a glimpse of her relationship with Anakin until that last scene, which is an Order 66 scene. Again, unless you've seen the Order 66 side on the Clone Wars, because that's the nice thing about the Clone Wars is the last episode happens in parallel with
Revenge of the Sith,
episode 3.
Right.
So you're seeing what's happening on Ahsoka's side in the Clone Wars and Anakin's side in episode 3. Right? But unless you've seen that episode, that last scene when she's with Rex on the ship and they're facing off against 1,000 clone troopers makes no sense.
Right.
Anyway.
So that's not my concern, but what I want to see them try to do with the Ahsoka show is I want to make sure that a schlub like me that's not invested in the character becomes invested in the character in the live action show, right? Because you guys are already in. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but Ahsoka is probably the most popular character to come out of that show, right?
Oh, 100%.
Right.
100%. She's, I mean, the Clone Wars?
Yeah.
She's basically the main character of the Clone Wars. Her and Anakin are the main characters of the Clone War.
Right. So but I don't have any investment in it. So if I go into the show now, mind you, the show is with Rosario Dawson, and they did a great job in The Mandalorian bringing Ahsoka in for those of us like me that weren't super familiar with the animated series. I just thought this chick is cool. I love the white sabers. Clearly, she's like non-aligned in some way, shape, or form. Like everything, it is even called. I think the episode's called The Sorcerer or something like that. Like they kind of like distance her from being a Jedi per se, quote unquote. And then her appearance on Book of Boba Fett as well. I was intrigued by the character. So that's what I want to make sure the show does. If the show tries to stay on the back of the Clone Wars as well, I'm not going to, like, I'm not, you know what I mean?
I don't think it is. I think the show, from the stuff that they've already revealed, is going to be a little bit more on the back of Rebels rather than Clone Wars.
Well, that doesn't help me.
Well, it doesn't, because the story ends in Rebels.
Right.
Because of Thrawn, right? Like, the story ends.
Right.
So this is a new story. So yes, it's like part 2 of what happened on Rebels.
Right.
But I don't think you need to have watched Rebels to be able to enjoy and get invested in Thrawn's story. Right. Because this is his second coming now. Now it's Thrawn coming back.
Well, it's almost, for those of us that read the Zahn books, it's almost his third coming, really.
Well, exactly. There you go. It's his third coming, right? So
no,
if you see it that way, you'll love it. I think anyway, you'll love it. And I think that's why Tales of the Jedi might be a good introduction to Ahsoka, without having to go through 7 seasons of 26 episodes. Okay, the last seasons weren't 26 episodes, but the first were. Of the Clone Wars, having to go through it all to see her journey. I mean, it's worth it. I think it's worth it because I loved it. The first 2 seasons were a little bit of a struggle to get through.
Right.
But after that, it's such an amazing show. I love the Clone Wars.
That's cool. That's good.
Probably some of my favorite. It's probably my favorite Star Wars after Empire.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Goodness, that's definitely worth it. Yeah, guys, I've tried. I don't want to be one of those guys that just craps on it without trying. I'm about I don't know, maybe halfway through the third season, I want to say. And don't ask me where I left off, because this was probably like maybe the height of the pandemic is the last time I tried to watch it. And I can't move past the animation style is what it really comes down to. Because it's not like I don't enjoy animated fare. I do. I watched Invincible. I watch Lower Decks. I watch a ton of animated stuff. That style, for whatever reason, just yanks me out every single time I'm trying to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can't seem to slug my way through. I know I just have to sit down one weekend and just be like, listen, I'm going to plow through as many of these get through like 50 goddamn episodes. Just like try to binge as much of it as I can to get to a point where, because I'd read things that Ahsoka was like annoying at first and nobody liked her. And then as the show progressed, she became a much, much better, much more rounded, fuller character and everything else. So I'm still clearly at the point where she's not a great character. She's pretty annoying. But that's not even my problem with the episode. That doesn't matter to me, because she's not in every episode, and she's not like a major focusing point on the episodes at this point, wherever I'm at it. Anyways, it's still mostly Anakin and Obi-Wan, and their everything with Grievous and everything else. Like, some of it's cool. The storyline is kind of cool. Now, did you know that this dude on Andor is the dude from Clone Wars?
Which dude, Luthen?
So no, in the ISB. So not the guy that's mostly been in charge. But
yes, the other guy that shows up.
Charge guy. That's the guy who was a rebel commander for whatever reason is now. Oh,
really?
Deep into he was the. Oh shit, man! You talk. I'm gonna look this up, because when I was like, even I know who this guy is. This is crazy. Who was the guy that was running most of the missions early on in Clone Wars?
I'll tell you right now. I forget what his name was. He does kind of disappear at one point. Let's see here.
Davis.
Anyway, I think I know who you're talking about. I didn't realize that was the same character.
Yes. Yeah. I was watching some sort of a recap of like Easter eggs you may have missed or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's this guy.
Yeah, I totally missed that. I didn't realize that at all.
That's bothering me. Anyways, whoever that guy is, that's the guy in the eye that's running the ISB. So he's clearly changed sides for whatever weird reason.
Well, he wouldn't have, because he's still on the same side, right? When he was running missions, he was working for the Senate, right? He was the commander of the clones, right? Or whatever. He was like a military guy. Those military guys just became Imperial officers, right? They didn't technically change sides.
Oh, no. Yeah, fair. Because he's also, by the way, I don't know if you know this or not, and it's even, I guess, the same in A New Hope, when they're at the table, the original table scene. Yeah. When Vader comes in and Tarkin comes in and says the Emperor has dissolved the Senate, and it's that dude is sitting at the table.
Really?
That character. Yes. Yeah, he's in white.
There's nobody in white at that table. I'm looking at it now. They're all in gray.
No, the guy to the left of the
there is a guy in white.
So that guy in white is the guy in the Clone Wars that's usually on the ship that's running the operations, and now he's the guy that's running the ISB on Andor. Same
interesting
character.
See, those are the kind of little Easter eggs that I love how they throw them in.
Agreed.
That's like how. Now I don't know if there's any truth.
Yularen, that's his name. Wolf Yularen.
Right.
Yes. So major Clone Wars character. He is now the director of the ISB on the new show. Wolf Yularen. I knew.
How do you spell? You know how you spell his last name?
Yularen. Guys, I'm so sorry. I know we're off on like this stupid tangent, but I mean, I thought this was kind of a neat little Easter egg between all three of the shows.
I had no idea.
Yeah. I didn't either until somebody pointed it out, and I was like, "That's dope."
And you know what? The guy that plays him in Andor, I mean, he looks a lot like. Well, his hairline's a little different, but he I mean, they have a very good resemblance.
Absolutely.
I like that.
I guess he was even on Rebels. He was even on Rebels. So yeah,
Yeah.
he's all kinds of.
I love how they do these Easter eggs and these little connected dots like that.
Yes. And I guess the
I
point
don't
I
know
was
if this
trying to
was.
make was, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, it's just he clearly went from working as part of the Republic to as part of the Empire. Do you know what I mean? Like there
But
was
so did
clearly like,
everybody,
yeah,
right?
well, I mean, not everybody.
Well, okay, there are people that became rebels, right? There are
Right, that's all
some
I'm
that
saying.
decided to become rebels, but
Sure. You think as working as closely as he did with like Obi-Wan and you'd think, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting because he's clearly portrayed as a good guy in the Clone Wars, and he's clearly not a good guy on Andor. So it's funny that it's the same character.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, like I was saying, a couple of
was...
years ago, and I don't know if this was made official, but there was something going around about how that scene at the end, or maybe not at the end, but towards the end of Return of the Jedi, when the rebel group gets captured by the Imperials on Endor, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's one guy there with a big gray mustache or big gray goatee or whatever. Yeah. And they had gone back and said, yeah, that's Rex. Right? Captain Rex becomes that guy, right? And I don't know if they made that actually official or not. But I like that they do little things like that, right?
Yeah, 100%.
That they work people that were in the show or in the movies before.
That's right.
And they build a character just based on the resemblance, right?
Yeah. Because sometimes I don't even care. Because from what I understand, I think they came out and said that was not canon. But who gives a fuck? Like we all.
In my mind, it's canon. Yeah, in my mind, it's Rex.
That's right. It's mind canon. I'm fine with
that. Yeah.
There's not enough of that goes around, to be quite honest with you. But
I like when they do little Easter eggs like that, right? When they
100%, like this ice cream machine thing. Have you seen or heard this whole ice cream machine thing from Empire on Cloud City?
What?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Because there's a guy. It's a really quick scene. And they've given this guy a name, by the way, because of course every Star Wars character, he's on screen for 4 seconds. So as they're evacuating Cloud City, a guy runs by. He's in like a red or orange jumpsuit, but he's got this like big, bulky looking. They showed it again in The Mandalorian. The very first few episodes of The Mandalorian, the canister that he got paid the Beskar in, that the guy cranked the top and the sides fell open.
Yes.
So yeah, Michael knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, ice cream machine. So there was a guy on Bespin that runs through the scene and he's holding onto this thing, this canister looking thing. And then when you take a close look at it, it was an ice cream machine that was available on the market at the time that they just grabbed
in
and
the
used
70s.
for a prop. And there's a guy that cosplays that. There's not just a guy. So whenever they have Star Wars Celebration, they take like a breakout and they have like 100 guys come in that all have these fucking ice cream machines with them, and they all just run through whatever the current thing is, all in their jumpsuits, all with their ice cream machines. You can find it on YouTube. It's great. I live for shit like that. The Willow Run. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Willow Run. Yes. Yeah, you can see this on YouTube. It's fuck. Yeah, Wilrow Hood is the name they gave this guy. And yeah, you can see him on screen. He's on screen for like 4 seconds. He's got this bullshit ice cream machine he's running around with. And then, yeah, they've got a video there from the 2017, and you can see there's like 100 people there.
Dude, he's got his own action figure.
I know. It's so stupid.
He's got his own action figure.
This is, to me, this is fandom. You can take your 501st, you can take your Rebel, you can take all your crazy bullshit. This, guys, is where it's at, because these people are just doing it for the love of the game. That's amazing to me. I love that so much. Yep. So if you're ever bored, guys, all it's going to take you is a jumpsuit, a mustache, and a headset and an ice cream machine, and you too can be part of this.
Unbelievable.
Oh, so good.
That's hilarious. So good. And yes, they use the same ice cream machine for the Beskar container. The Beskar, I don't know what you want to call it, vault or...
No. Yeah. How we paid off the Beskar, yeah, for sure.
That's genius.
Yeah, so great. Anyways,
yeah, you're right. There's not enough of these little Easter eggs as far as I'm concerned. Well, there's a ton of them. There's a ton of
Oh,
these
Easter eggs,
little.
yeah, but like the way they embrace this guy and the
Mhm.
whole thing around it, this is running of the hoods. Yeah, dude. Like, come on, man. That's just pure fandom love, is what that is. Nobody's gonna start giving you grief because your mustache is wrong or you don't have the right accessories on your jumpsuit. Nobody cares because it's just a hoot. Love it. We might have to organize our own little hood run here at one of these one of these events. This would be
I,
pretty damn easy to put together. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm on board. I'm
Yeah,
in.
yeah. This might have to be a thing,
Let's find a
guys.
couple ice cream machines. I'm sure
Put
you
the
can
word
get them
out, guys.
online.
We'll do our own one of these events soon. When the Geeks and Co are there, we'll have our own little. We'll try to organize a Wilrow Hood run. We'll do it in the middle of like a Saturday afternoon at Fan Expo or something. It's gonna be great. Anyway, sorry.
Did you hear the rumors that
Oh,
they're starting work on a new Star Wars movie that would be
did.
post post sequels,
Yes.
but would not be a sequel movie. It wouldn't
Yes.
be a Star Wars. It's not going to be a Skywalker saga.
It will not be Skywalker Saga, but
It will be an independent movie,
after.
just like Solo was and Rogue One was, and
Yes.
it'll take place after Rise of Skywalker.
Yes. So Damon Lindelof is the
yeah.
gentleman that's on tap to write it. Damon Lindelof of Lost fame and The Leftovers, and I believe he wrote the Star Trek reboot as well, the first Star Trek film in the Kelvin universe.
Yeah.
And Lindelof has his like. Oh, by the way, he also wrote the Watchmen TV series. He's also responsible for that, which I thought was brilliant. So Lindelof is one of those guys. He's a very polarizing figure. He's like Zack Snyder. People either absolutely love him or cannot fucking stand him. Like, there's nobody that's a 5 for this guy. Everybody's like, he's the best or he's the worst. And I think that just depended on
so he's
how
another
well
Ryan Johnson then.
basically, yeah.
Fun times.
Lost and Leftovers both sucked.
Fun times.
What Bobby's saying. I didn't get all the way through Leftovers. I thought it was okay. Lost, I've tried a couple times to get into and I couldn't. Watchmen, I thought was absolutely brilliant. That's what Sino Creative is saying there now on Instagram. I'm mad Watchmen was only one season. Me too. Because that's a shame because it was fantastic. Yeah, it just depends. Yeah, sometimes guys get it right and sometimes they don't. But yes, so I don't think that's a rumor. I think that's pretty confirmed. That's
I know. Is it confirmed? I
what
don't
they
know
want to do, right? They had announced that he was going to be developing a Star Wars movie. That's the key to the development. It is post Rise, but it is not part of the Skywalker saga. What does that mean? Because technically, that's what a lot of what we're watching now is, right? Like, technically, Mando and Boba were both post Rise, right? Or no, they're post Jedi.
No, they're post Jedi.
Okay, I got you now.
Pre Force Awakens.
Pre Force Awakens, but post Jedi. So this would be post. Yeah. So this will be uncharted territory as far as the timeline goes.
Yeah.
Right? And then, so I guess what will that look like? Is that so that's my question to you then. What do you want to see in a post Rise? Because the First Order, I'm going to guess, is like, who's the antagonist? Like, what do you want that to be? Because it has to be something movie level, right? So
that's my issue, right? Is who does become the antagonist? Who becomes the villain, right? I mean, the First Order has now been defeated again. Is Palpatine alive again? Like, I don't know, right? Like,
somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah, like do you just make it something like
well, I don't think you can. If you bring
Coruscant
back
underground, like a post.
hopefully a giant planet killing space station. Yeah. That would be so avant-garde. We haven't seen that before. That'd be amazing. I don't know. Like, how do you get away from the Skywalker saga and yet still play in the same universe? And you're not just rehashing the same.
You know, to me, there was a swashbuckling adventure type feel to Star Wars that I feel like Star Wars has now lost.
Oh, I think Mando's doing a pretty good job of keeping up with that.
And Mando's the only one, that's been keeping up that.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know.
It's just an adventure across the galaxy. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to have some huge overarching big bad. You would rather see something that was a little more, not small in scale, but maybe smaller in, what's the word I'm looking for? Consequence, I guess, maybe. Like, it doesn't always have to be about saving the universe or saving the galaxy. you know what I mean?
No, you're right. You're right. 100%. You're 100% right. It doesn't have to be. Everything doesn't have to be at a galaxy level.
Right.
Extinction event, fucking planet killers, and no, not everything has to be at that level for sure. I kind of hope that if we're going to be exploring a new timeline, that we're going to start something new.
Right.
That's my thing. Is I want us to start something new while still, and I know this is going to sound silly. Shawshank in Space. You know what? So Vardo and I, serial Shawshank in Space. I would not be against something like that.
Right.
Like, that's something different that like maybe.
I think we're kind of getting that a little bit with Mando, and I wouldn't want to reach, right? Because Mando is kind of exactly what you're talking about. It doesn't have these giant universal stakes, right? The stakes in
right
Mando
now,
are very small, which is good because it's kept this show grounded and it's kept us invested in the characters more so than the story, which I think is important. In the absence of a big bad, there is always another big bad. That's what Ed's saying, and you're not wrong, but that's kind of my point. I kind of feel like Star Wars has done the big bad thing to death, and I think Mando has really shown that they don't have to have a quote unquote big bad, right? It would be good if instead of like with the sequels that they had an arc ahead of time. If they're going to do like 3 movies, that they have a 3-movie arc in place, so they don't have 3 movies that seemingly are supposed to be connected. That
my understanding is they've already said this is not a trilogy.
So this is going to be one single standalone Star Wars film.
It may spawn a second and a third part, but they're not planning this out as a trilogy. They're planning this out as a one-shot solo movie.
Well, man, I'm okay with that then, because then you can really kind of do almost anything you want.
You can. Right? You can.
Like
my concern is, how do you not make another Rogue One?
Yeah.
Right? How do you make a movie that it invests you in the characters that they're building? You know?
Yes. It's like Walking Dead, same pretense over and over. They need a giant all-out war. I think you need a trilogy for a giant all-out war. I would say for a standalone, that would be hard to get invested enough in the characters that you would care about a war. Personally. Like, you wouldn't have enough build-up to get to like a flat... Because that's basically kind of what you got with Rogue One, right? You got a single film where they spent time building it up. They had this cool backstory. And then you got the huge battle over Scarif, right? So you kind of already done that. I don't know. Yeah, I would like something a little bit smaller in stakes. I would like something that's
so
more
here's my thing. You know,
like Rogue Squadron would have been dope.
Okay, so that's exactly where I was about to go with this. So Rogue Squadron, which is now, guys, off of the schedule. So I know the last time we spoke about it, the argument was that it hadn't been canceled. It had just been delayed. It's now off of the Lucasfilm schedule. So as of right now, Rogue Squadron is no longer happening.
Right.
That would have been fucking dope.
Yeah. Super
dope. The Rogue Squadron storyline, of having an actual story built around fighter pilots, a Top Gun in the Star Wars realm would have been amazing.
100%.
Right? Something different, still within the Star Wars realm and still within the timeline of the Skywalker saga.
Right.
Right.
Just nothing to do with the Skywalkers.
Nothing to do with the Skywalkers themselves, but you're still within the Star War.
100%.
Right?
In the title.
I feel like the further away you're getting from that, it's no longer Star Wars, right? Because you're getting away from the Star War.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
That's my only problem that I have with them going post sequels is, well, how is it still going to be relevant, right? How is it? So we'll have to see. I still think that they should go way in the past. That's what I think, but that's just me.
Well, that's what High Republic. Oh, you want even further back? Hypergate saying, "I'd love to take a look into crime lords a bit more." I feel like Book of Boba Fett gave us a taste of that, so I think that's probably something that might get explored in the future. How about a militant band of the First Order trying to rebuild and take over? I feel like I don't hate that idea. I feel like a bad guy centered film might be a little bit more difficult to sell, type of thing, especially Star Wars, because Star Wars is all about the hero's journey. So I don't know it's not a terrible idea. I would like that as a show, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. We need those ace pilots. Yeah, Top Gun, Red Leader. Yeah. No, I don't know how they. I mean, I know it was Patty Jenkins, and Patty Jenkins got caught up doing Cleopatra and then Wonder Woman 3. So I get that she probably didn't have the time to do it, but that's a shame because that would have been so good.
Yeah,
especially
it would have been
as a
excellent.
singular standalone film, right? Genius. Explore the Forest Pass. It would have been neat to explore the Forest Pass. What we know, there's so many unexplored areas of it on screen. Red October standing by. Yeah. How about turn it off? Though I hope they keep it to the non-force sensitive for now. What about something in the Outer Rim, like, or in the unknown regions, like something that's like so completely foreign to, like, it's not the Republic and it's not the New Republic or the Old Republic or the Empire or any of that thing. It's like completely lawless area of space with aliens we haven't seen before. And I know that's difficult because then you don't have any of the familiar tropes to build on that are bringing people in. But man, Rim, Michael, honestly, what are we doing?
So, Jeff, I have thought about what you're saying extensively. And for me, the main issue always comes back to if it's that far removed, that's so new and unfamiliar, and then how is it Star Wars? Why are you even calling it Star Wars?
As long as it has
right,
that look
you're
and
writing
feel.
the name right now. Is all you're doing at that point, right? It's just a marketing name.
Well, okay,
right?
But if we want to move as far away from the Skywalker saga as possible, like the Skywalker saga is also intrinsically tied to Star Wars. Every single thing that's come out Star Wars has been tied to the Skywalker saga.
Correct.
If you're going to move away from that, that's 9 films, all these TV shows, cartoons, movie, everything has all been tied to that. So how do you move away from that far enough that it still feels like Star Wars, but it's not about the Skywalker saga?
Well, I think, but by moving into the Outer Rim, you're losing even the familiarity of places, right? Not only are the characters no longer there, not only are the ships no longer there, not only are the Jedi and the Sith no longer there, but the planets are no longer there. You know what I mean? Like, you might as well be into the Star Trek world at that point, right? You might as well call it Star Trek and be in the Theta Quadrant. You know what I mean? Like, it's.
I do. Maybe it's more of an extreme. Maybe it's more of I just feel like if we're too close to home, they're going to find ways to shove legacy shit in there, like they like to do. And I get it. It brings us in.
And that's why I think if they go into the past, they can go thousands of years into the past. So very, very far away from anything within the Skywalker saga. And that's my other main issue with the High Republic era is that you're still dealing with characters like fucking Yoda. Yoda's going to be in the High Republic stuff. He already is. He's in the books.
Star Wars Strange New Worlds.
Yeah. So why wouldn't you go way, way back, like William over here says, and go Old Republic?
No, I know you guys are like hammering away on Knights of the Republic. I get it.
There's so much content in the Old Republic era. There's so many characters that we can introduce.
So either that's going to happen or it's not, right? Because if it's Knights of the Old Republic, they have all this source material they can draw upon. They've got the video game. They've got the subsequent books that are legacy books now, but they can draw on stuff from all that stuff. That's great. If it's not Knights of the Old, I get it. You guys love it. I'm sure I would love it too. But if it's not that, what is it?
You know, I don't know.
You guys are just hanging your hook on that, and that's it. If you don't get that, what else is there going to be?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the further we're getting away from Star Wars, the less it feels like Star Wars, right?
No, that's fair, man. No, that's a fair assessment. I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just hard to. It's a hard line to draw between wanting something completely new and then still tying it to something that's old. It's that's all I'm trying to say. To explore the older Sith Lords from the beginning. I hate prequels, boys, but if that's what you guys want and that's what's going to sell, then cool, man, make it happen. Like,
the point of prequels like that is it's more on the level of House of the Dragon, right? It's hundreds, if not thousands, of years before, right. So the stuff that's happening here isn't directly affecting the stuff that happened after,
right?
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I get it.
Anyway, I don't know. I don't know how you make it appealing, how you make it feel like Star Wars, how you give us a story. If the Jedi are all gone, if the Sith are all gone, I don't know. I just don't
still want a story of Salacious B. Crumb. Michael, why are we friends? You know what?
Didn't he get barbecued?
Cancel that train ticket.
Didn't he get barbecued?
One of his race did, anyways. It's not. He was one of the. I don't remember what they're called. There's a name for them because it's Star Wars. There's a name for everything that's ever been on screen.
Yes. Let's see.
Anyways, Apparently, they've started filming on the Acolytes, is what I'm hearing now,
Yeah.
which kind of goes along with what we're talking about because it is not within, I believe it's really old, right?
No.
Show focus on the emergence of the dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic. Okay, so not
Yeah.
really old, but during the High Republic. Okay,
Yeah. So it's at the end of the High Republic, right?
right.
So
So it's still not going to be tied into the
this says
Skywalker stuff.
132 BBY. So it's 132 years before the Battle of Yavin, but the High Republic era is 400 years
Right.
BBY.
So it literally is like House of the Dragon, only for Star Wars.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
The Acolyte is going to be Star Wars' House of the Dragon. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So apparently they've just started filming on that. So maybe that's going to be at least give us a taste of what something could look like that's still taking place in the same
I hope so.
area, but not tied to the Skywalkers, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
If they jam in some sort of fucking great grandpa Skywalker in there, I'm gonna fucking flip a table. Like fuck off. We get it.
I don't know how they would make any kind of reference like that, but you're probably going to have Yoda in this again.
Yeah,
right?
that's fine. But I mean, Yoda, I feel like because Yoda's
probably going to be like 500 years old already when this happens.
Well, if it's 130
right?
years before and he was 900 or whatever, so
there you go.
He's gonna be like change, 7 and change, whatever. Yeah, but it's Yoda. Like Yoda's been around for so long. I feel like Yoda surpasses the Skywalker saga because
but I mean, again, he's one of those characters where it's like beating a dead horse, right? Like if you want to get away from the Skywalker saga, why do you keep going back to Yoda? Like
Yoda's fucking cool.
I mean, he is. Don't get me wrong. I like Yoda
because it's fucking Yoda.
I don't know. The one thing I'm really, really, really looking forward to is Skeleton Crew.
Really?
Where are you at? Did you?
My phone fell over. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh, guys. That's the one with Jude Law, right?
It is the one with Jude Law, correct?
So what's the basis of that?
I'm not 100% sure. From what I understand, it's gonna be sort of a, how the Clone Wars ends and intersects with episode 3. This is going to be a show of a band of rebels that intersects with Return of the Jedi. So,
but it's live. Is it live action?
It is a live action show, from what I understand.
So there's that.
It's gone into production now.
Oh yeah, they got some cast members going on in there.
Casting.
But Jude Law, man, like I fucking love Jude Law.
Yeah.
Forthcoming live action television series to be released Disney Plus 2023 was announced May 2022. Set after Return of the Jedi.
So there you go.
Probably around the same time as the Mandalorian, right?
Yeah, and it interconnects spin-offs after the events of Return of the Jedi. Yeah, so this is going to be a Mando era show.
Yeah.
So it does it say here who's heading it up? Created by John Watts, Christopher Ford. Yeah, executive producer John Favreau, Dave Filoni. There you go. So it's a Filoni-verse show, right? So that hopefully will be very good because I love Jude Law. I think Jude Law is
dope.
Yeah, I love him. It doesn't matter. Again, he's another one of those guys that whatever you put him in, he's good fantastic. In. So I'm really, really looking forward to that one. But that's not coming out till I think Christmas next year, isn't it?
What does it say? It just says 2023.
Yeah.
It doesn't say when, but who knows? If it's currently filming, then yeah, probably sometime.
Who knows? Next year. Ahsoka, I'm really, really looking forward to because Ahsoka, obviously, I mean, I love the character.
Yeah, that's Ahsoka. Your girl,
right? She's probably my favorite character next to Luke Skywalker. Well, Luke and Vader are kind of on par with me, for me,
You fucking peasants. No love for Obi-Wan. No love for
what?
The real one true Jedi.
The real, if there was one real true Jedi, it was Qui-Gon Jinn. It wasn't Obi-Wan.
Qui-Gon Jinn, who lost to Darth Maul, who Obi-Wan beat twice. Okay. Okay.
Qui-Gon Jinn
All
was
right.
the only one following and serving the Force,
Okay.
not the Jedi Council.
I didn't say that. It's Obi. It's
He
still
was the
Obi-Wan.
only true Jedi, as far as I'm concerned.
Who
Anyway,
lived? Who lived?
anyway, maybe we should do a top 10 Jedi one day. See where they all fall.
It's fine as long as Obi-Wan's number one. I don't give a shit where the rest of them go.
Obi-Wan will not be number one. I'm sorry.
Wow. I
I'm
think we're
sorry.
gonna.
I
I
can
don't know.
tell
Can
you
we
that
do a
right
top
now.
10? That might have to be like a top 5. Could we list 10 Jedi?
For sure we can list 10 Jedi. What are you talking about? Really? You can't list
but then
10
we have-
Jedi?
No.
Oh my God,
name
dude. What are
10
you doing
Jedi.
on the show right now?
Well, who are the 10 Jedi that you would? Oh, are we gonna go to the? Well, yeah, I guess with the prequel.
Well, what the fuck? I can. Okay, so my top 5 would be very easy then.
Yeah,
Luke,
hit
Anakin,
Yes.
Ben, Qui-Gon, and Ahsoka. Top 5.
Well, okay. So
And then
these
you
are people
still
that were
have
Jedi at any
guys like-
point, then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you've got people like, Yoda and Plo Koon and
Mace Windu.
fuck, dude. Mace Windu and
You're so
Galen Merrick.
You're so
and,
upset right now. You're so upset.
You know,
You're so mad. It's okay. It's gonna be okay, buddy. I know. I know you had a rough day.
Hey, listen.
Tell you a little
what do you hope for out of this new movie? Like what do you hope to see? And if not, what we would want to see, something way in the past, Old Republic style. What do you want to see?
because the new film is taking place past. If you really want to make sure that it's still
Post.
sort of within post. Yeah, post. Sorry, past, post, whatever. Yeah, after.
Yeah.
Skywalker. What I would like to see is what we're sort of missing out on Andor. Not missing out on, but we're getting a taste of. Is I would like to. So clearly, something is going to have to come up and replace the First Order. Some sort of new republic, or something that's going to be some sort of a governing body throughout, and then the intricacies of trying to put that together. I want you to make it a thriller. I want you to make it a politically charged. I want Captain America: The Winter Soldier, only I want it in a Star Wars. That's what I want. I don't want any levity. I want a couple of cool characters, one on each side of the conflict, trying to make their way through and bring their kind of like what Ed was saying, like a smaller group that still wants the First Order to be a thing, but then another group that's trying to build up a new republic, something along those lines where it's a lot of cat and mouse and a lot of back and forth. That's what I would like to see.
I would watch that for sure,
because now I've gotten a taste of what that could be on Andor, and now I want it on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
If it's not some type of universe or galactic bending stakes like that, if it's a smaller stakes movie, unfortunately, I would like to say a heist style movie, but they kind of already tried to do that with
They
Solo.
did that with Solo, and I'm not going to lie. Solo wasn't the worst.
No, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as it got maligned to be.
Him as Solo, he was not Han Solo to me.
No, of course he wasn't.
I even, like, it was on TV again the other day, and I rewatched part of it, and it's not a bad movie.
No,
but it's not Han Solo.
It takes you out when you see him, and you
realize
it kind of just keeps jarring you out because you're like, that's not him.
It's not Han Solo, right? So
imagine having to step into Harrison Ford's shoes for what is arguably one of the most iconic sci-fi characters of all time. Fuck that, man. If that was my agent calling me up for that, I'd have been like, there's no I don't care how many zeros are on that check.
They should have used that other guy. There was another guy that played a young Harrison Ford in another movie.
Right.
With Harrison Ford.
Sure.
Right? I forget what his name is, but he not only looks like a young Harrison Ford, but he sounds like him.
Oh, I do know who you're talking about. I don't remember his name either, but yeah, his impression of Harrison Ford is like...
Well, he played him. Like I said, he played him in a movie, right?
Like The Witcher is going through right now. We're not going to talk about that because you'll see me cry real tears.
Yeah, The Witcher, I don't...
Oof.
Oof. I haven't seen season 2. I haven't seen season 2.
Okay.
But my understanding is season 3 is already filmed.
Correct. And will come out with Henry Cavill.
But Henry Cavill got so pissed with what they did with the story and the character that he's like, you know what? I don't need this bullshit. And went and did something else.
That's the rumor. Nothing's been confirmed from either side. Like Cavill's post basically just said, I'm leaving after season 3. We're turning it over to Liam Hemsworth. I wish him nothing but the best. He's great. I love my time as Geralt. Goodbye. And nobody has come out and said this, and this is why he's leaving. Rumors abound. Is he going to? He's committed to doing more Superman. So is this the reason why that he can't do both? They're still looking for a new Bond. Has he been cast as the new Bond? And that's why he can't.
I heard he's been cast as a main character in the MCU. A main reoccurring character in the MCU.
I think that would be difficult if he's going to come back and do a lot of Superman stuff, which apparently
I don't think he is going to come back and do a lot of Superman stuff. I think he's back for a movie.
Well, if that movie is wildly popular, it makes money. They're not going to be like, thanks, Henry.
Well, for sure, but right now, I think the plan is for him to come back for a movie.
I don't know.
I don't think it's a matter of, I'm going to be playing Superman again in like 14 movies or productions. No.
I wasn't trying to list that. He just said that the cameo in Black Adam was just a small taste of what's in store. So he made it sound like it's not just going to be, I'm just going to do Man of Steel 2 and nothing else. He made it sound like,
I don't know.
Like he literally said, I'm back. So, I mean, like, what do you want? Like, that seems to me.
I don't know.
Like,
I can't see him quitting a show for something like that.
I don't know. Like I said, the other thing would be Bond, because Bond is a commitment. Bond is a 10-year minimum commitment. It's a multi-film commitment. So,
I mean, if
he was doing Bond,
I wouldn't mind him as Bond. I wouldn't mind him as Bond at all.
I think Cavill is back for all the Superman Snowhawk. So do I. He's very invested in the character, and I'm sure they just finally cut him the check that he was looking for. Yeah. So I mean, again, we'll see. We'll see. I know they're actively looking for a Bond. They said they probably wouldn't announce anything until the new year. If they come out and say Henry Cavill is the new James Bond, that's when you'll know that's exactly why he left The Witcher. I have heard everything that you're saying too, by the way, that he's so invested in The Witcher. And he said flat out, I'll do 7 seasons of the show if you guys stick to the source material. As soon as you don't, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Dwayne Johnson drove a truck of money to his house and said, you wanna. And apparently he was the one. Yeah, sorry, I have to open up a wound. Apparently Dwayne Johnson is the one that got Henry Cavill and Warner Brothers back to the table to do something, to get something down on paper that's going to say that he's going to return to Superman, not just for the cameo in Black Adam. So, hey, man, it's an exciting time.
Yeah, I mean, the rumor that I heard was that he was potentially in line for Dr. Doom. And Dr. Doom is scheduled to be the next big bad of the MCU in the next phase and forward. Like, he's going to be the next...
Like, after Kang?
After Kang, it's going to be Doom. Introducing Fantastic Four, introducing the X-Men, Doom's
You're talking minimum, what, 4 years, 5 years from now?
Well,
when does the multiverse saga end? 2026?
I don't know.
I think.
I don't know. No, I think we're going to start seeing him before that.
I remember Tim posted that one picture that we all found out was a hoax or whatever of the casting of Fantastic Four, and it did have Henry Cavill casted as Dr. Doom, and I don't know if that's how that rumor got started, but
I don't know.
Just be pretty surprised.
I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it was all. Yeah, who knows?
I would be pretty surprised if he was active in 2 different superhero universes simultaneously.
I mean, I wouldn't be. Why would I mean? Do you think Marvel would say no, you can't, or DC would say no, you can't go do movies at Marvel?
Some of them do end up signing exclusivity contracts from one side or the other. Thor,
do they really?
Chris Hemsworth can't appear in a DC film as a DC hero based on his on his original contract. His current contract may be different.
Interesting,
who knows? But
yeah,
because it would cause. I mean, depending. Like I heard that, like Keith is saying here, I heard they wanted Cavill for Hyperion from the Squadron Supreme, basically Marvel Superman.
I had heard that originally as well.
Here's the problem: that you don't think that's going to cause at least a little bit of confusion in the normies in the straights?
Yeah, for sure.
Playing essentially the same character in 2 completely different, unconnected universes.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh man, James Gunn is running the DC studio, so if he wants Cavill, he's smart to come back. There's no question.
I 100% believe that had a lot to do with Cavill coming back and them announcing it. I guarantee you that's been in the work for ages. And they already knew when they filmed that end credit scene in Black Adam that James Gunn was going to be named head of the studio.
Quite possibly. I can't tell you that they filmed that scene twice, because they did film it the way they filmed the end of Shazam. They filmed a scene
with no head.
Without head and not Cavill. Right? And then they got Cavill literally last minute to finally sign something, and then he appeared. But the cool part about Cavill right now is he's out here doing these interviews for Enola Holmes 2, where he plays Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, is he really?
Role. Yes.
I didn't even know there was a new season of that.
There's a new, it's a standalone. It's like a film, right? Like
it is. Okay. Oh, the first one was a film. That's right.
The film, so the second one's a film. So he's back as Sherlock in a supporting
role. He's fantastic at Sherlock.
No, he was great. I loved it.
Even though it's only a small role, he was fantastic.
And he's very upfront about that, by the way. He's like, this is Enola's story. Sherlock is just there to support. He's like, I played it very low key. I didn't want to be all over the top because this is not my story. This is not my time. It's Millie Bobby Brown's time. It's Enola's time. But he's out doing press for Enola Holmes 2, which I think comes out this week. It might even be tomorrow. And they keep asking about Superman. And the one thing he keeps saying over and over again is that he's looking forward to playing a brighter, happier, hope-inspiring Superman. That's what he keeps saying over and over and over again. Because Jackie Earle Haley, who played Rorschach in the original Watchmen, posted on Twitter recently saying, "Oh, you're doing another Superman film? Get Zack Snyder back on this. This should be Snyder's thing." But you can tell Cavill, even though he's super appreciative of Snyder for bringing him in and giving him the role in the first place, is like, I don't want to play that dark Superman anymore. I want to play the bringer of hope. I want to play the man of tomorrow. Like, I want to play what Superman is supposed to be.
Well, I think he still was. I mean, I don't know. I think people misinterpreted Snyder's Superman. That's just me.
No, you're not wrong.
I think he was always that. He just made him more human.
And he showed him like becoming Superman, right?
He showed
like
him becoming. Yeah, 100%.
All the missteps, all the failures, everything else. And I get where he was going, but I think Cavill now wants to be on the end of that now. Like, we've shown all his struggles. We've shown what he's had to do to get here. Now we can show who, like, the true Superman from the comics. That's the beacon of light, the inspiration, the hope. I mean, it's hope doesn't start with S, stupid, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what the symbol is supposed to be at the House of L. So
yeah. I mean, Snyder always played on the Superman can't be stopped trope, right?
Yes.
I think Justice League shows you when they have those nightmare sequences where the injustice stuff, where Superman's gone mad because Joker's killed Lois. You can't have Superman without having that fear of, well, what if?
Of course.
Right? And that's, I think, what Snyder was playing on.
Oh, of course. I think a lot of us are kind of getting tired of the evil Superman trope.
Well, for sure.
Homelander, Omni-Man, Superman himself. Like, there's so many of these same, like, what would happen if the most powerful person on the planet went bad? Yeah, we get it. Can we go back to him just being the most powerful man on the planet and doing good for the whole thing? I don't need to see him break down. I don't need to see him turn evil. We've been there. We've done that. When was the last time there was a truly good, awe-inspiring Superman on screen where he was not battling some inner demon, not learning from mistakes? He was just Superman doing Superman shit.
Superman 2.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Superman 2.
It'd be nice if we could have, and I know it's probably going to come across as a little bit cheesy, a little bit cliche, whatever. That's what I want, man. I want that beacon of hope. I want that. Yeah. Anyways, Superman 4. Well, we don't really talk about Superman 4, but.
Superman 4 just because he splits up into two characters, right? The good and the bad.
That's 3.
Oh, is that 3?
3. Yeah. That's
What's
when
4 again?
Richard Pryor tries to make kryptonite and it doesn't quite work out well.
Oh, right. Superman 4 is the
where he gets rid of all the nuclear weapons, and then Gene Hackman somehow
like, Nuclear Man.
Oh my god. It's so bad. And I'm a big Reeves guy, and I'm a big, but that Superman 4 is a tough watch, man. It is hard.
Yeah.
Superman should be happy and hopeful. He died. He has something to live for, says Snowhawk. Can we get a cool Green Lantern, please? I'm halfway through Blackest Night. Thanks, Jeff. Oh, man, God, Blackest Night is so good, Sam. You're in for such a ride. That's such
Quest
for Peace. Yeah, terrible. Yeah, they're retooling the Green Lantern show. So originally there was going to be a Green Lantern show on HBO Max.
Yeah, they were going to make a Blackest Night show, weren't they?
No, it was going to be Green Lantern based on Guy Gardner and another Lantern who I'm
oh, really?
A difficult time pulling into my hat right now. Since the merger and everything else, they're reworking the entire show, and they are going to center it around Jon Stewart, which is originally what they wanted to do anyways, but the studio put the kibosh on it, and they put it on Guy Gardner and another Lantern instead. Now they're junking all of that. Like, they had all the scripts written for the first season. They were ready, like all the previs, like all that was done. Oh, Alan Scott. Thanks, Keith. Yeah. Alan Scott and Guy Gardner, and now they're junking all of that, and they're going to go with Jon Stewart. So fingers crossed it's going to be good, but now we're going to have to wait longer for it because now they literally have to start from scratch.
Now, please tell me this is not going to be a CW Jon Stewart?
Well, John Diggle, no, this is HBO Max. So
okay, so this is going to be a completely different thing.
The CW universe, no, different.
Right. And this is a live action show we're talking about.
Live action, yeah. The original plan for this was supposed to be the most expensive DC show to date when it was originally going to be with Alan Scott and Guy Gardner. So if they keep up with that, I'm sure they won't, but justice for Salacious Pika, you guys and your justice. This whole hashtag justice thing, by the way, is your fault, sir. I want to make sure that we are clear on that. Look, you're just like, yeah, I did what I did. I said what I said. I regret nothing.
Justice for Biff. I'm telling you, I'm going to make a hashtag justice for Biff t-shirt, bud, and it'll be coming your way. Awful. Yes.
Never wearing it. You want to wrap this thing up here, sir? And
yeah, I mean, we've gotten away from Star Wars at this point, so we might as well wrap this up. Final thoughts for me, Andor has been meh. It's one of those things where the show follows a character that I don't like, that I don't give a shit about, and we just don't get enough of the good characters. That's the way I feel about it. It's too slow. The story's not moving along. There's character development, but like, what character development, right? Like, I don't know. To me, the show, they could have done much better if they had just based it, like you said, around Mon Mothma or Luthen. Or,
yeah, the two of them together.
Absolutely. Yeah,
he's out there being the face of it it's her on the streets and him in the sheets, right? It's like, she's working the political angle on Coruscant. He's out there rounding up little rebel cells and trying to get them to work together. Fucking perfect. And the ISB is just trying to chase them both and connect them. That's your show.
Yeah.
What are you doing with all the rest of this nonsense that nobody gives a crap about? Justice for beers next weekend. Well, you canceled, so we're gonna drink beers and send you pictures apparently. So that's on you, sir. That's on you. Which reminds me, we still have to come up and see you, sir, out in Curtis there.
You sure do. You sure do. Dude, you gotta check out Tales of the Jedi. The Dooku episodes are particularly good. I especially loved. There's 2 episodes where you see Dooku before the turn, like him as a Jedi, and you really get a better understanding of. He saw the Jedi Order falling. His turn wasn't about joining the Sith. His turn was about distancing himself from the Jedi Order. Right? So his fall wasn't intentional in the sense that he wasn't a bad guy. To him, the Jedi were the bad guys. The Jedi were like Ahsoka, right? Like very similar arc. Right?
Yeah. I got you.
Very similar arc, yes. Gotcha. So I like that they did that. Check it out. Listen.
Yeah, I will try.
It'll be like 2 hours of your life.
I will try it.
Yeah, check it out. It's neat. Even though that it uses the animation style from the Clone Wars, the graphics have gone so through the roof. I mean, when the first episode shows up, I was like, wow, okay. Like they're really pushing the animation. Really pushing the animation.
I will check it out for you.
Michael says you're stuck with me. I guess he's still going.
Yeah, I guess he's still coming.
Canceled or not, he's still coming.
All right. I will see
you canceled him or he canceled you?
I told him to cancel his ticket, but apparently he did not. So we're stuck with him. That's fine. Well, I'll get so drunk I won't have to worry about it. It'll be fine.
Oh, there you go. Hey, actually, just before we go quickly, how was your Halloween weekend?
busy, but very good, very good. Good turnouts at both events, so it went very well. My Batman ended up at both events. Got to hang out with some really cool people at both events. So, yep. A shout out to Pizza Hut and Crime Stoppers for the one events. That was we had a great time. Keith L was there, and Brittany, who's Toxic Fox, was also there. And then on Sunday, shout out to London Comic Con and the crew at Budweiser Gardens. We had the big candy crawl there.
Oh, yes.
Steve Jones, a friend of the podcast, Groot, was actually at both events as well. Eric, also Laura's Worthy there, friend of the podcast, also came out for the Sunday event. Big shout out to James, Deadpool. London Deadpool was out there too, and he was helping to organize it all. So, yeah, man, it was both events were great. So had a great time.
Very cool.
Yeah, I was exhausted come Monday, but
yeah,
it's all part of that stuff for the love of the game. So, how did the Predators and for Halloween go?
So it was fun. I mean, we did our typical, getting dressed and harassing the Curtis people,
You do.
walking down the street and making people honk and pull over, screeching tires to come and take pictures.
Hell yeah.
It was a good time. We had our annual stop in at the Deadly Grounds Cafe. Guys, if you don't know the Deadly Grounds, go check them out. You can buy their coffee online, Deadly Grounds coffees. They're all flavored coffees. They're all very good. But then we also spent some time at the Critical Hit. It's a Critical Hit Gaming Lounge and Cafe, I think is the official name. Listen, guys, this is a gaming lounge local again here. If you're a D&D player, if you just like playing board games, if you just want some good food and some good beer, it's a fantastic place. So we showed up there. They had a D&D tournament going on. So we took a bunch of pictures. We ate lunch there, which was listen, I had no idea what I was into, and this food was amazing. So go check it out if you're in the area. You can also buy their coffee because they also roast their own coffee, but their coffee is more traditional coffees. They're not flavored coffees. So their coffee brand is called Greenwood Cafe and Roasters. So if you check him out online, greenwoodcaferoaster.com.
Nice.
They are a very medieval themed cafe. Every coffee is medieval themed, where all the Deadly Grounds coffees are horror themed. Very similar type of setup, except these guys are really into the gaming world. So it was a great time. Listen, we had a good time. We met a bunch of people. We ate some good food. We had some great beer. Because they also have a friggin' brewery right down in the basement of this place. So yeah,
lovely.
So that was our weekend. So that was a good time. But we're done. This guy's back on his mannequin. Where is he? This guy's back on his mannequin.
Yeah.
For the people online or on the whoa. Sorry, guys. The phone just went flying. There we go. Sorry, guys. Here he is.
Hey, there we go. There
he is done for the year.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty much done too. So
yeah, we're beat. We're sore. The suits are. I mean, they need a lot of repairs.
I feel you.
I need a break. Break.
Big time.
I need a break.
That's right. We're already talking about planning for next year, guys. So
that's the thing. Yeah.
Your eyes open.
Yeah, we're starting to try to plan for the cons for next year, which also means we're still trying to plan our cosplays for next year.
Yes, we have to have a meeting about that for sure.
We do. So yeah. So I think that's going to be it for today. Guys, I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about next week, but I do know that we've got Living the Dream Cosplay joining us next week. If you guys don't know Living the Dream Cosplay, go check her out on Instagram. She will be here. We will be talking about some cosplay. I do want to talk about House of the Dragon.
Yes.
Because we really haven't had a chance to talk about House of the Dragon since it ended.
Agreed.
So I hope that Living the Dream has been up to date on House of the Dragon. Maybe I should actually send her a message and confirm that she's up to date. But I do want to talk about it a little bit.
Yep. Fair enough.
I think that's it.
I think that's it too.
All right. Well, hey, guys. Gracie. Yeah, thanks for watching. Really appreciate all of you guys constantly tuning in. You guys have no idea how much we appreciate it. I know there's not a lot of people left. We know when we start rambling at the end of the show, people start logging off. But still, thank you so much, guys, for joining us. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, hey, make sure you check out our YouTube channel, Geeks & Co. Actually, you can now go to youtube.com/geeksandco. It'll take you to our channel. So we've actually registered the name now with YouTube. So it is official now. So go check us out on YouTube. Give us a like. Give us a follow. But that'll be it for this week, everybody. Make sure you stay geeky. We'll see you next time.
Love you guys. See you next Thursday. Bye.